Gaming is a pretty expensive hobby. No one wants to take out a loan to escape their soul-crushing reality. No worries though, because I've got plenty of tips and tricks to help you guys play games on a budget. Tip number 1. Wait. No, seriously, just wait. If there's a hot new game that just came out, wait a little while for it to cool off, you know? You'd be surprised how quickly games go on sale. Dying Light 2 was one of the biggest games from 2022, and only a year later, it's already gone down 50%. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out last October, less than 6 months ago, and it's already gone for 35% off. Atomic Heart came out less than 2 months ago in late February, and it is already going for 20% off. Speaking of Atomic Heart, single-player games like Atomic Heart, especially single-player games that don't have a ton of replay value, like linear adventure games, spectacle games, and walking simulators, usually go on sale extremely quickly. After everyone has already seen the story, whether by playing the game for themselves or by watching their favorite content creator play it, all of the buzz for the game dies down. With no new content updates, the game fades into the background once the hottest new game drops. So, to renew interest, game companies will put their titles on these massive sales. Valve has actually started to release schedules for all of the sales they're having in the year, so you can actually do a little bit of planning ahead of time. Steam has big seasonal sales 4 times a year, so if you're willing to weather the storm a little bit from all the hype when a game first comes out and you're able to avoid spoilers, you can usually get a pretty good discount on a game if you wait a few months. And sometimes waiting for the hype to die out can also be a really good thing for your own enjoyment of a game. Sometimes just hearing everyone talk about the same game over and over and over again can make you sick of the game before you've even played it. So just give it some time and wishlist the game. I know it sucks to miss out on all of the excitement and community discussion when a game first drops, but if you want your wallet to be nice and fat, then waiting is more than worth it. Tip number 2. Multiple storefronts. I know most people don't like using different sites and launchers, cause trust me, I'm one of them, but if you don't see sales on the platform you typically use to buy games, try another one. Console users don't have this privilege unfortunately, but if you play on a PC, you have quite a few more options for purchasing games. Epic Games, GOG, Newegg. Obviously no one has the time to be looking for sales on all these different sites, so instead you can use GG Deals. GG Deals is a site that finds deals for games from different game marketplaces like Steam and Humble Bundle. So you can just use this site to find your deals and then go to whatever online store the game is being sold on and buy it. There's a section on GG Deals called Historical Lows, and this page shows games that are the cheapest they've ever been. There's another site called Is There Any Deal, which is similar to GG Deals in that it lists places you can get games on the cheap. Whenever you search up a game, it'll show what the current best price is for a game as well as how low it's gone historically. So if you're looking for some supersized monster deals, this might not be a bad place to check out. I will warn you guys to be careful because some of the places that sell discounted games are keyshop websites. Keyshop websites sell codes which you can then redeem for copies of a game by going onto your platform of choice and entering the code. The key selling business has had quite a long history of shady activity. You might end up with a code that doesn't work, or you might get a code that was obtained using stolen credit cards. Some sites are more trustworthy than others, so be safe and do your research before you buy anything. Speaking of research, one thing I found out recently was that Epic Games Store actually has free games every single week. During the week of the day that this video is going up, one of the free games will be the original Dying Light Enhanced Edition. Some of the other notable games that have been free on the platform are Celeste, Death Stranding, Sonic Mania, Superhot, the Batman Arkham Collection, and the BioShock Collection. A lot of the free games are either old or games you'd never play if they weren't free, but you can still get some heat from time to time. Tip number 3. Subscription services. Now, I know for people who are trying to save money, you really don't want to hear about paying for another subscription service, but you can potentially save some big money. Each of the big 3 game console companies, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, all have their own lineup of free games that you get from their respective subscription services. Nintendo has their Switch Online membership, which for $4 a month, $8 for 3 months, or $20 a year, you get access to a bunch of classic NES, Super Nintendo, and a handful of Game Boy/Game Boy Color games for free. If you're willing to shell out $50 every year instead of $20, you can get the Switch Online Expansion Pack, which gets you N64, Sega Genesis, and Game Boy Advance games. Honestly, the only consoles that have somewhat extensive lineups are the NES and Super Nintendo games. The Genesis, N64, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance games are very slim pickings. As a complete package, I think it's alright. I definitely think Nintendo can do a lot better. I mean, seriously, what's stopping them from just dropping their entire first-party lineup of games already? But hey, you do get access to quite a number of classic titles here. Sony has their PlayStation Plus service. This service has 3 tiers. The first is their Essentials plan, which is essentially the basic PlayStation Plus service that they've had for over a decade at this point. For $10 a month, $25 for 3 months, or $60 a year if you have the service, every month you get a handful of free games. A ton of games have been made free through the service over the years, like God of War, Yakuza 7, Metal Gear Solid 4, Life is Strange, Terraria, Sleeping Dogs, the list continues. Like with the Epic Store, not every free game is going to be a banger, but you can score some great titles from time to time. The next tier is PlayStation Plus Extra for $15 a month, $40 for 3 months, or $100 a year. Extra gives you access to the game catalog, a wide selection of other free games, from Resident Evil 7 and Spider-Man Miles Morales to Doom and Final Fantasy VII Remake. The final tier is PlayStation Plus Premium, which is $18 a month, $50 for 3 months, or $120 a year. This tier gives you access to the Classics catalog, a collection of older titles on PlayStation like Dark Cloud, Mafia 2, and Star Wars The Force Unleashed. There is a lot to offer here, so I'd say go through the list to see if any of the tiers have any games that you'd be interested in. With the cheapest option, the Essentials tier, you are taking a bit of a gamble as you don't know what free games you're getting every month. However, if you're willing to shell out a bit more cash every year, you can probably get your money's worth with the good selection of games in the Extra and Premium tiers. Of course, we can't forget about Xbox Game Pass. Game Pass is similar to PlayStation Plus in that you get a ton of free games, but Xbox has day one releases. When some new games first drop, they're included for free on Game Pass, all for $10 a month. I've never been an Xbox guy, but fortunately, I don't have to be, because you can get Game Pass on PC as well. If you want Game Pass for both PC and Xbox, you can get the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $15 a month. Hi-Fi Rush, Atomic Heart, the Persona games, JoJo All-Star Battle R, Signalis, Omori, Minecraft, Stardew Valley, there's just a ton to offer here. And the fact that you can get some games day one for free is honestly crazy. There are some exclusive free games on Game Pass for Xbox that aren't available for the PC version, so keep that in mind if you do get Game Pass on PC. Besides the Switch Online expansion pack, all of the tiers from each of the 3 companies have monthly plans. So you could always plan out which games you want to play, drop a couple bucks on the monthly plan, and then cancel it later. Sony and Microsoft even have some time-sensitive refund policies if it's your first time signing up. Nintendo is Nintendo. If I had to rank them, I'd put Nintendo at the bottom, then Sony in the middle, and then Microsoft at the top. The fact that you don't need an Xbox to download and play the games on Game Pass is just great, not to mention the day one releases. If you're into retro games, then Nintendo Switch Online might be a decent option, but otherwise it's fairly lackluster, and Sony is just a nice little middle-of-the-road pick sandwiched in between those two. But hey, hopefully by checking out this video, you guys managed to find a new way to save some money on some games. I'll be on the lookout for some hot new tips and tricks for next time.